Okay. Namaste and a warm welcome to everyone joining us for today's sponsor spotlight session, proudly brought to you by the Delhi NCR chapter of ICF. I'm Dr. Amitabh Kumar, Director of Partnership and Marketing for our chapter, your host and host for today's conversation. As an ICF PCC and a Hogan certified global executive and leadership coach, with 24 years of experience, I'm deeply passionate about conversations that elevate our coaching profession. Today's topic, niche is the new normal, has become one of the most defining strategy differentiator for coaches worldwide. In a rapidly expanding coaching industry, clarity of the niche is not just an advantage, it's becoming essential for credibility, attraction, and long term sustainability. To explore this in depth, we are honored to have with us one of India's most respected voices in coaching excellence. Let me introduce our guest for today, Jaya Bateja. So please join me welcoming Jaya Bateja. She is a master certified coach, a successful entrepreneur, India Coaching Excellence Guru, coach, educator, and supervisor, founder of Abhyudaya Consulting Services. Jaya has shaped the Indian coaching in the industry with her coaching programs as well as through her deep commitment to the mastery, ethics, and coaching development. We are truly privileged to have her with us today. Welcome, Jaya.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you for this honor.
Okay, so let us start our conversation. So, what is niche all about? What exactly is niche that you're talking about?
Well, niche is a very simple concept of clarity. Having clarity about what problem are you solving for whom, and
Mm-hmm.
defining niche basically gives clarity. It's like, are you a physician or are you a surgeon or are you a dentist? What? That's niche, your specialization, because then that helps people to identify what problem you're solving and for what. So that's what niche is about. It's basically clarity of your work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what does it mean to find and define your niche as a coach in today's market?
Well, I think the market is getting more and more crowded. We have been hearing that the supply is more than demand. And while now demand is also going up, and AI has also entered, and there is a whole lot of mental health crisis going on, the confusion is only going up. So defining niche is actually, now we don't have an option to really not define our niches, to create clarity and for customers or for the consumers to really find us and actually help people we want to help. Because by not defining the niche, what happens is we are constantly working in the general area and we're not able to reach people who need our help. and people who need our help are not able to reach us. So creating niche actually helps us create that opportunity to support people. It's like an address, right? You give the right address, people will reach. If you don't give the right address, people will keep wandering around. So that's what it is about, creating niche in coaching market. Now, interestingly, coaching is a very wide area. It's an area which deals with multiple aspects of life, whether it is work, whether it is personal or professional. There are several branches under both, whether it is relationships at home, or whether it is dealing with the next generation, or whether it is dealing with the teams, whether it is becoming more effective in your changing environment, whether it is hybrid environment, whatever it is, in whichever context you see. In professional
Hmm, hmm,
and personal environment, there is a lot of nuance which is showing up simply
hmm,
because of the how the environment is evolving, and that's the reason why it helps to define our work more clearly and focus on that
hmm.
accordingly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you for explaining it well. So, how does it help in developing the marketing strategy of a coach? I mean, how niche defining a niche will help in that.
Well, because niche is equal to clarity, your messaging, your all the posting that you do on social media, or the marketing that you're creating will will
Hmm,
obviously be determined that, right? Who is the target audience? What is their problem? Where do
okay.
they hang out? Not everybody hangs out on Instagram, and not everybody hangs out on LinkedIn. For example, there are some target audience who do not even use social media, and if that's your target audience, then and if you are advertising on social media, it doesn't make sense. So the complete marketing strategy is dependent on where are you focusing, what problem you're solving, who are these people, where do they hang around, and things like that. So marketing strategy has to be connected to whom you are serving and why.
Hmm, hmm. So what I'm hearing is you're suggesting that first you decide the niche or define the niche and then design the marketing strategies around it, is it? Or the social media
Absolutely. I
strategies
mean,
around it.
absolutely. Because right
Hmm,
now, what a lot of us do is we are going on posting anything and something on LinkedIn, and we don't know whom we are posting it for. And we are thinking that anybody, whoever can connect with my content can reach out. However, the crowd is so much, the postings are
hmm,
so much everywhere, that nobody is reading those. So readability of content has gone down. So we are, in by thinking that I can reach anybody, I'm not reaching anyone, right?
hmm,
So that's the
hmm.
reason why it is important to narrow down your target audience and actually focus on the messaging, focus on what their pain problems are, what their what are the solutions they are seeking, and then creating a strategy around that, because then it has to be a very customized strategy and not something that your AI can create for you.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. Okay. So, while okay, just asking the audience, everybody, while I'm discussing with Jaya and she's explaining us lots of good things. I mean, lots of things about niche. I would invite you all to ask your question with her. She's an expert, so I can probably take few of the questions from your side as well. You may like to comment the questions in the LinkedIn or wherever you're watching from in the YouTube. Uh, we'll take few of the questions from there as well. Okay, Jaya. So back to our conversation. So how does someone define their niche? What are the steps that you think could be to define or find out what niche one should choose? Let's see if I'm starting as a coach. How should I find out my niche?
Well, that's a very interesting question, because while coaching process is industry agnostic, the
Mhm.
niche defining needs experience. So whichever industry you come from, look at solving problems there, because even if you may say that, hey, coaching doesn't need any industry experience, which I agree, for your
Mm,
credibility, you need to be dealing in the same industry where you have been, because you understand the language, you understand the problems, you connect with that persona. So if somebody wants to start defining their niche, they have to look at what experiences they have been through. Another very very helpful tip is to look at the struggles that you had in your time while you were in a career, whether you were in a business or you were in a job or you were working as a teacher or whatever you were doing in your earlier life in last few
Hmm.
years. Look at that place and find problems there, because then you can actually be able to go deeper into that better, even if coaching is the same
Hmm.
process. So the first thing is to see what are my experiences have been, right? If I come from an HR industry and I
Hmm.
come from a corporate setting, I can
Hmm.
look at these two areas and then I try to
Hmm.
look for the problems there. If I've been into leadership development, I know the problems there and I can pick
Hmm.
up something from there and then create my niche there. If somebody has been working in a school, for example, we have teachers who are getting educated as a coaches. For them, they know the depth of the
Hmm.
schools and what happens there and what are the issues there. So they are the best people than
Hmm.
me to go and support schools with coaching, right? If somebody has
Hmm.
been in a fashion industry, that person is a better person to go and help people in fashion industry than somebody working in HR. So what is important is look for the familiarity, because if you start with all the unknown areas, it just creates a
Hmm.
lot of confusion and overwhelmingness for all of us. So it's a good idea to
Hmm.
look at some familiarity, try to look for
Hmm.
problems, and then try to create some products. And that's important one, look for create products, because only coaching services may not help you find your doors. What you need to do is create products around it. For example,
Hmm.
if you come from a sales industry and you have learned
Hmm.
coaching, combine those two and say, I'll help sales people increase their efficiency and their results through coaching. Now you're talking about the problem statement, which is complete in its
Hmm.
nature. It's talking about the target audience, it's talking about the framework you will use, it's also talking about the problem you will solve. So it has to be a complete statement about whom you're going to help and how you're going to help, and coaching can be a vehicle to that, because coaching is not a solution, it's a vehicle
Hmm.
to find the solution.
Hmm.
That's what we need to understand. And clients do not care about whether you are a coach or your mentor or you are a consultant. They are worried about the problems they are facing. So what is important for
Hmm.
coaches is to look at the problems and find the solutions. You may use coaching in that, you may use mentoring in that, you may use consulting in that, whatever, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Defining
Hmm.
it and being clear about it is important. The reason a lot of coaches struggle is that they stay away from defining their work and they say, I'm a coach, I'm an MCC coach, and I can coach anyone. That can be a choice for some people, however, does not give you a targeted work, right? So if you are very clear, if you're clear about your purpose, that these are the kind of people I would like to help, then creating a niche is meaningful. If you are someone who says, I don't care whoever comes and I can help anyone, that's also a choice and there is no judgment about that.
Hmm. Hmm. So, should I summarize it in a way that it's more important for creating your branding or creating business opportunity for you yourself as a coach, or at the
You're
same
right.
time, yeah, right, right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, you're right. You're
So,
right.
okay.
Niche actually helps you create your personal brand. And if you are
Hmm.
someone who wants to thrive in this career and you want that, okay, I want to make this my living, then niche is very important. If it is because it helps you create a personal brand, it's an identity in itself. People know why they can come to you for what problems you can solve for them.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
where niche plays a very big role in creating a personal brand.
Hmm. 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 Okay. One question always comes to me. I mean, from the perspective that you mentioned that there is somebody who is MCC and wants to coach anyone and everyone. So, with the expertise, how to draw the fine line between being a mentor and coach while we are defining our niche?
Well, it's a choice. You really don't have to define, I mean, have a boundary there. And you can always offer both, and you can let your clients know that you're doing both, right? These are two
Hmm.
hats
Hmm.
and have both two different purposes, and both are very helpful. And in a culture like India, we need both. Our clients actually are looking for both the services. So it's okay to come, say I'm a mentor and a coach both.
Hmm.
Until
Hmm.
and unless your
Okay.
client come and until unless your client comes and say just do coaching for me, don't do mentoring, then you follow that. So it's about the contract, it's about what they, but I can offer coaching and mentoring together, and I can pronounce that and put it in my contract and be very transparent about it, and there's nothing wrong in that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for sharing your insights. So, what are the common challenges do coaches face while trying to establish themselves in a niche?
Well, there can be many things. One is, I think a lot of people don't want to go that path because they feel that they will be excluded from other work, right?
Hmm.
Which is
Hmm.
actually a
Hmm.
myth. Which is actually a myth. By
Hmm.
defining your work, you are actually supporting. You're creating clarity to people to reach out to you. You're making it easy for people to seek your help, right?
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
some At times people don't have clarity about what niche they can bring, and obviously there's a process to create a niche around it. A lot of times it's lack
Hmm.
of experience, at times it's lack of confidence, at times it's lack of maybe the effort they want to put it. At times there is a lack of courage to do that. So there can be anything depending on it. It takes a bit of time to create niche because you need to have some experience in hand to be able to say, okay, I have coached. That's the reason you ICF have numbers, right? Number of hours. So that's the reason they say, okay, if you practice for 100 hours, then at least you get a sense that what kind of people you would love to support, because it is not a very logical decision, it's a very energetic decision. I may not feel very enthusiastic supporting leaders who are very high on drive, just for an example,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
I may be very motivated
Hmm.
to work with women entrepreneurs. So I need to find my space. I need to see where do I get
Hmm.
energy from, because it's not about following the process. I'm sitting with a client with all my energy and my emotions
Hmm.
and my process and my experience. So if I'm not energetically aligned, and if my client is not energizing me and I'm not energizing them, we cannot do this work. So niching is also about energetic alignment with what kind of people you want to work with, right? What kind of people actually
Hmm.
add to your own growth as a coach, as a human, because not every
Hmm.
target audience is my audience, and that clarity actually helps you move forward.
Okay, so one related question comes into my mind. So, while coaches stay niche focused, but how can, even by being niche focused, even remain open to diverse clients' need without losing authenticity?
So the simple answer is that niche doesn't take away your opportunities, it actually increases it.
Okay.
There is a myth around that because, see,
Mm-hmm.
people choose people. People like
Mm-hmm.
clarity. If you are someone who's clear, people like to work with
Mm-hmm.
you, right? So for humans, it
Mm-hmm.
is not about, hey, you are a leadership coach, so I can't talk to you about life. No, the number of life coaching conversations I do in my leadership space, I can't even tell you. But it is not about that. It's
Mm-hmm.
about having a clarity. Clarity is very
Okay.
attractive, right? So when people are
Mm-hmm.
looking for support, they need to get attracted to clarity, and clarity
Mm-hmm.
comes from creating a niche. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
myth that niche takes away your opportunity. Actually, it increases it.
Okay, so well, you're saying defining a niche, basically not taking the opportunity of finding different clients, but it increases in
It
particularly.
increases.
Uh, yeah. Okay. Thank you. So, okay, another question comes with this is, what role does storytelling play in helping coaches connect with their niche audience, basically? Does it?
Well, storytelling is becoming a very essential skill in today's world. All the coaches should get certified or trained on storytelling. I'm not saying certified, but get educated on storytelling, because
Educated about.
The overload of information that we are dealing with. If you really want to get
Mhm.
attention of your client, you have to connect with their emotions, and story is the only way to do that, right? It's the
Mhm.
effortless way of
Mhm.
connecting with emotions, and creating that resonance that, hey, what you're looking for is available with me. um, with AI coming in, blogs have lost its authenticity. Nobody knows whether it is written by you or it is written by AI. So people have stopped reading blogs, by the way, right? There is a very
Mhm.
less
Mhm.
readability on text now, and that's the reason the rise of
Mhm.
videos is coming up, because at least there you see the person, you see their energy, you see if you connect with them or not. You at least sense them before you actually reach out or want to work with them. So,
Mhm.
storytelling, storyboarding is a great way to connect with the audience. Otherwise, nobody's here today. The world has changed. Nobody wants to listen to the gyan. Nobody has time and patience and attention to actually go through
Mhm.
long, videos
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So, storytelling, I think, is something which is becoming a very essential skill. I think every coach education program should add a storytelling class on that.
Thank you. So I heard that choosing a niche is important for your, your personal branding. Then designing the marketing strategies around it, and the storytelling around it. Right. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
okay. Great. 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 Okay. So uh, let me also ask audience once again if you have any question around it. Very interesting conversation is going on. Please ask your question. I'll certainly take one or two from that based on the time permits. Okay. So okay, Jaya. So coming back to the conversation again. So what are some emerging trends in the coaching niche, and how can coaches stay ahead of these trends in the, in future, seeing the futuristic trends basically?
Well, some of the
What are
very
some of the
clear trends
emerging?
that Yeah, some of the clear
Yeah.
trends in at least organization is to look at the well-being piece and blend it with leadership development. There is
Okay.
a rise of stress and overwhelmingness and burnout in organizations and overall actually. So very clear
Mm-hmm.
theme around how do you blend coaching with well-being exercises practice, or actually coach around the energy pieces, something that we addressed through
Mm-hmm.
Miraki, right? How
Mm-hmm.
can you actually help people holistically rather than just focusing on the problem in the hand,
Mm-hmm.
right? How do you help them look at a broader
Mm-hmm.
picture? So definitely mental health is emerging as a topic. There is also a
Mm-hmm.
conversation around diversity. While I understand what's happening globally around diversity, however, there is a need to support women leaders quite well. There is also a need to create balance between remote and hybrid leadership, techniques as to how can you actually lead in a hybrid environment. There is
Mm-hmm.
a need. There is also a need around Gen Z coaching. So almost every training room or coaching room I'm into, there is a constant topic around how to deal with these Gen Zs, because the
Mm-hmm.
I think we lost Shreya for a bit. Hi, everyone. Great conversation going on. And I can see uh, two questions coming up. When is the right time to decide niche for a beginner coach? We would love
Mm-hmm.
Jaya to answer that. And she's somebody who has seen the landscape of this entire coaching industry being shaped from being a beginner, an ex Fortune, the Big Four, to being an award-winning, professional herself, and then an educator, and then working in the organization. I think Jazz disconnected for a bit. Once she comes back, We'd love her to answer that question. Thank you so much for asking it. And as a beginner, I can only say it's very important to calibrate yourself to the future. Hi, Jaya.
Hello.
Well,
Hi. Can you hear us? Hi, Jaya.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're
yes,
audible. You're
yes, yes,
audible,
we can
and
hear you.
we
Yeah.
were waiting for you
I
because there's a
can't hear you.
beautiful question which has come up from
Hello.
the audience.
So there are a couple of questions.
There are a couple of questions, and one of the question
Yeah.
which you are the
Sorry
best
for this.
person
I
to
had a
answer.
power breakdown here.
You had a power breakdown, not a problem. And that's the spirit of
Give me a
being an
minute.
unstoppable
I'll just
coach.
read it.
Okay. So we have a couple of questions from Arvind Sisodia. How can organizations promote a strong mentorship culture across different verticals, especially when each vertical has its own niche? It's a very important question because the complexity that we see with the world changing, the socioeconomic factors changing, we need to work
Yeah.
in cooperation. And how we can do it seamlessly, when you have your own niche, being a coach, being a consultant is very important. Yeah, uh, are we audible? Can you answer this question? I think there is. We
Jaya, you
also
can
have.
hear us? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
I'm not able to hear you for some reason.
Okay.
I can't hear you. Sorry for
Got it.
this.
Not a problem. While Jay is taking care of the tech, we have an interesting feed question from Aditya Sisodaya. Aditya Sisodaya is asking what global compliance standards uh, should be adhered in terms of niche positioning. Okay, that's a very deep question because when you are positioning, you don't think about positioning in
I
an
think we have to
organization.
close it here because I'm not able to hear anymore.
Uh, just a sec. We can take care of that. Just a sec. So, Amita, why don't you take the question? I'll take care of Jaya.
Okay. Okay. So while we are waiting for Jaya to come back, there are a couple of questions which has come as Devishi was explaining. So we can go by one as Devishi is trying to solve the issue with Jaya.
Yeah,
Okay.
Debishi.
Yeah. You can hear me?
Okay, sure, sure. Okay, okay, sure. All right, so I'm not able to hear you, but I can answer the questions that are written on the screen. So the question is, when is the right time to decide niche for beginner coaches? So see, again, beginning means what? Are you beginner as a coach or are you beginner as a working professional? A little bit of experience helps you understand which is the kind of audience you resonate with. So right time is a very difficult parameter, and at least, I would say even if you are close to 100 hours of practice, you will be in a position to see the patterns. What is also important is that you're making a note of your coaching session. So in Abhyodaya, we actually ask our coaches to create a log. And there's a reason, it's a very detailed log, because there they actually reflect on each and every conversation, because coaching is not about just creating a package and a product and selling that. It has to resonate with who you are. So which audience you resonate with, what cause you resonate with is important, and that perspective comes in when you coach few people and you are in a position to filter out to say, I'm not going to work with this kind of people. I'm passionate about supporting this kind of a people. So it's a very energy related work, and that's how you should look at it. It's not about the right timing, it's about the patterns. If you are, let's say, even if you are 50 hours of experience, and you can look at the patterns and say, I'm very clear about, I want to support women entrepreneurs or whoever, then that's a clarity, and you start with that. And niche doesn't have to be a permanent address. You can keep changing that. Work on a niche, go on for 6 months, and see if it's not working for you, change it, recreate and build on it. There are times we do re-niching, right? There are times, like I have re-niched myself a couple of times, and there is a fun in that, because you work on a niche for 3 years, and then you feel, now I'm bored, or I'm not finding it exciting, let me recreate it. So that's always an opportunity, and coaching gives you that creative space. You can always combine two niches to broaden your niche. So all that possibility exists. Next question I see is, what global compliance standards should be adhered to in terms of niche positioning? I'm not sure. I don't think I have education on this piece. Depending on what you're dealing with, for example, if you are into a therapy space, there are definitely global compliances in place, right? So depending on the field you are in, you have to look at what are the authority associations talking about, what are their guidelines, what are their ethics standards. For example, in coaching, we are clear about the ICF ethics standards. So based on, if applying mentoring, then there is IMC, which has defined some standards. If you are talking about, if you are blending therapy into it, look at that. If you're dealing with schools, you look at their prerogatives. So depending on what you're really dealing with, you look at their associations and their requirements, if that helps. I want to start coaching for managers. I had been a marketeer for 34. Okay, what's your question? If you can type your question, that'll be helpful. It's strange. I'm not able to hear anything. Okay. With AI taking over many forms of content, what part of human storytelling do you feel remains irreplaceable for coaches? Connect with the belief system, connect with emotions, connect with values, which are always unique to humans. There is no one combination that repeats in the world. Everybody have a different combination of beliefs, values, mental models, and emotions. So how it shows up in their life, how it manifests, how is it connected to the actions they are taking, that chain itself is very unique to every human. So go deeper into that, look at the nuanced version of those, and then create solutions. So that's when it is boutique, and that's when it is unique in nature. Okay, I think this is the complete question. I want to train, sorry, can you bring that? I want to train pharma managers in industry who need good coaching. Can you share good videos and blogs which I can understand and take up the same? Sure, you can write to me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to send you some, but I'm not familiar with them. I'll go to YouTube and find something. However, in the audience, if there are people from pharma industries, please share. However, yeah, blogs which I can understand, take up the same. Okay. So I think my question to you is, are you looking for pharma industry, or are you looking for coaching videos? You can let me know on LinkedIn. Happy to send you some information later. Karan's question, while I totally understand what your background could be an advantage when defining a niche, I'm curious about your view on whether it is good or bad to define a niche like realignment coach, transition coach, purpose coach. Curious to know how these form Google search point of view when people are looking to find coaches, do niches like life coach, executive coach. Okay, very good question, Karan. If you're talking about India, we need to be more specific. We need to be more problem centric, while coaching is not meant for that. In India, we are still not open for purpose coaching. Okay. We are still not open for transition coaching, realignment coaching. These are very sophisticated form of coaching, which needs the culture and the environment to be ready for something like that. So plus the way our conditioning has been, we understand tactical stuff better. So if you tell somebody, I will help you manage your relationships at home or with your teenager, it strikes the problem and solution better than saying, I'll help you realign while you're doing the same thing. So whether it is, and as far as Google search is concerned, in my experience, coaching has always been a referral work. It's always, because it's a sensitive work, it's related to your emotions and your stories. People generally like to go with someone known and tested versus searching on Google. I'm sure they search it. However, I have come across very few people who would say, I searched you on Google and I'm talking to you. Even if they have searched us on Google, they actually do a lot of research on LinkedIn and YouTube to see how you speak, what you speak, are you making sense? Do I like your energy? Do whatever. And then they connect. So it is less about these vocabularies, but more about connecting the problem with the solution. I hope that makes sense. It needs to connect with people to say, hey, if I go to Jaya, she will be able to help me with this particular problem. How did you discover your own coaching niche, and what key moments and experience shaped it? Thank you for asking that question, Venkat. My experience in leadership development actually gave me the insight that I love transferring information and creating insight. So when I started learning coaching, I also started teaching coaching when I was working in my organization, and I found my love in teaching coaching as well. So when I stepped out of my corporate career, I actually started supporting a lot of coaches through mentoring. My program came much later. And those mentoring experiences actually gave me that pattern. And that's what niche defining is all about. When you're working with a particular audience, I realized, hey, I'm good at it. This is my strength. I would love to doing it. And that's when I created my courses. So that's how I define my course. So um, I love to call myself coach educator. I've worked around, I've learned mentoring and supervision, and I find my niche there. That's where my superpower comes alive, if that makes sense.
Okay, Jaya, with that, how do you
How do
help
you
beginners
help
find?
beginners find a niche through your programs?
Yeah.
Interesting question, Amit. So now there is a lot of request for this, supporting coaches to build their niche. And while I don't have a formal program around it right now, I've been supporting a lot of coaches do it informally. Next year, 2026, I've decided to support two coaches to build their niches. Obviously, there will be some, there has to be a criteria for them to be qualified for this intervention, simply because there has to be some work done. We can't say I'm not even started learning coaching and I want to make my niche, becomes difficult to support. So a little bit of experience, if someone has and they have done a bit of work in coaching industry, I would be supporting two coaches. Keep looking for the information. We'll release the information in January sometime, and we'll be working through 6 months to 8 months to define the niche and launch the niche,
Mhm.
if that helps. What narrative shifts do you foresee in coaching industries over the next few years? Good question, Ruchika. Well, coaching has to become more holistic. We have to start learning to blend coaching, mentoring, therapy together. We have to make our work more holistic in nature, more human in nature. And that's the trend which is very well, it's all almost there. The burnouts that we see in leadership today are beyond the leadership work. So it's about managing them, managing this thing. Now we are also seeing one more trend, which is around redefining your life. Given that the economic scenario is changing, most of the people have everything that they need, and now they are looking for new meaning and purpose in life. So there, now we are also moving towards, hey, what's the next phase of my life looks like? Those are the boredom is a conversation on the table. Burnout is a conversation on the table. Recreation is the conversation on the table. So I definitely see that, number one, holistic coaching, which blends coaching, mentoring, even some tools of therapy. Definitely, therapy has its own role in a deeper way, but at an organization level, coaches need to learn all these aspects of managing the well-being. That is very clearly there. And then redefining the next phase of career, redefining the next phase of life, redefining identities are something which is actually coming up. So very interesting times coming up, I must say. Amit, there was second question that Ruchika asked. Can you take that back? I need to read that. It's so funny. I can't hear anybody and I'm talking. Second question, with AI taking over many forms of content, what part of human storytelling do you feel remains? I think I've already answered that question earlier. You can take me to the next question, Amit. I hear coaching being talked about organizations only. What about outside organizations? Thanks for that question, Aarti. Well, outside organizations, there is huge need. Huge need. We just need to step up and create products. We are not creating products. We are waiting for people to give us work by becoming ICF certified coaches. Doesn't work like that, please. We all need to start making relevant products for people for them to come and take support. Today, a teenager, a housewife, a woman in 40s, anyone and everyone is seeking help, but they're not able to take help because we have not defined our services. We are saying come and take coaching sessions. It doesn't work like that anymore, simply because there is a lot of confusion around this field. Till the time you don't tell them what problems you can help them solve, they won't be able to raise their hand. So a good strategy is to create smaller products, do smaller webinars, do smaller workshops, and then add coaching sessions to that. It's a great way for people to experience coaching while having a bit of theory, having a bit of frameworks around it, almost like group coaching formats, because that is when people have clarity as to where, because it's not easy for people to be vulnerable in a group setting or in a one-to-one setting. To even reach out to a coach and be vulnerable and talk about your emotions is not what our culture has taught us. So it's important that we create products. India is sitting on a lot of opportunities. It's only about you creating the connection to see whom do I want to help, what's my purpose, and what support I can give them. If you can solve these three questions and connect the dots, create products, you're done. Okay, I see Arvind's question. How can an organization promote a strong mentorship culture across different verticals, especially when each vertical has its own niche? Well, that's already happening. Organizations are already waking up to mentorship and coaching culture. I don't think we can escape it anymore. We are hitting bad times, and without mentorship, nothing can work. I'm just out of a workshop where we have taught them how to mentor, and I'm seeing that trend already in the organizations. Are there more questions?
I think we have taken
Amit,
most
you will
of
have
it,
to type. I
and
can't hear
we
you.
can.
I can't hear anyone. I don't know what went wrong.
Okay.
Crazy.
Okay. So we don't have more questions
Hey, Devishi.
as of now. And so thank you, Jaya, for explaining us.
I can't hear anything. You
very
can type, or
deeply
you
on
can say
this.
anything about me, and I'm not listening.
So I'm talking about you. Okay. So thank you
It's a
so much
private
for
chat, so you
answering
can
all the
write
questions. Yeah. Okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So this is what everybody is saying. Thank you, Jaya, and from my side also, thank you for explaining. Even with this glitch, you've taken all the questions and very well, and then
Thank you, Mohit.
explained it well. Yes. So.
So I'll
There is
close
one more
this
question coming
wonderful,
from Sarek.
powerful session. I think
Yeah.
we have a lot of questions coming up, but we
Yeah.
were going to send it to Jaya so that uh, she can share each one of them in detail because all of them are great questions. So we've taken a first step. All these conversations are first steps for the aspiring coaches, coaching enthusiasts, for this entire industry or the landscape that we are creating, an ecosystem of people development that we are creating can work in unison. It's not a solo work, it's teamwork. And thank you so much for coming on a Saturday, afternoon. And it shows deep commitment on what we all are co-creating. And look at Jaya, she is an unstoppable person. Even with having the technical glitch, she was able to be there and answer the question. So, coaching is all about taking you through this turmoil, this disturbance, and this difficult situation. And it can just work in silos. It has to be working with all the other modalities which is there in the ecosystem. So, on that note, I'm Devishi, the president of the Delhi ICF NCR chapter, and I thank Amitav for curating this beautiful conversation, and I thank Jaya
Thank you,
for
Jay.
being here, and looking forward to more such conversation. And the audience has been great. And as I said, this is the first step. If you want to hear more such conversations, please let us know. And we also go ahead and do different session for you to go to the next level in your journey of taking this entire industry to the next level. So on that note, have a wonderful weekend, and yeah, stay bright. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Devishi.
Thank you.